Look, I in no way had to make this video, and don't pretend like you have something better to watch, so stay throughout this video. But to get started, a lot of people have had a problem with Forrest Frank that he accepts money from his music, but he will not accept awards publicly. And so a lot of people have had issues, and there's also the problem with how much Christian artists are actually making, how they're making so much money. And the argument is that they make so much money for something that should be for God, to glorify God, so they shouldn't be able to profit off of it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So make sure that you watch this full video if you're interested in that kind of thing. If not, again, don't try to act like you have something better to do. I know you don't. So basically, the idea is don't take money from God because you're doing it in the name of God. That makes literally no sense. Okay. Because you shouldn't sustain your family. Should pastors not get paid a salary because they lead the church and they're doing it in the name of God? So they shouldn't be able to take care of their family. They should just be broke and homeless because they don't get paid because they're doing it for the Lord. But you should get paid for your job that's not doing anything for the Lord, right? You should get paid for that job. But Forrest Frank shouldn't get paid. And I think the problem is it's not that he gets paid. The problem is that he makes more money than you, and you have a problem with how much money he's making because it's so much. Yeah, Forrest Frank makes millions of dollars, or at least so we think he makes millions of dollars because, well, he's a music artist and he's a popular one in the Christian community. Actually, let's scratch that. He's also hit mainstream, and that's a great, like, if you're a Christian artist who can hit mainstream music, that is amazing. Okay, let's just be honest. And now look, God says be a steward of your own money and steward it well. And we don't know what Forrest Frank's doing with his money. He could be donating it. He could be investing in programs. He could be doing literally anything. And you're not the say in any of that. That's between him and God. Also, him and not accepting awards was because he felt like that God was putting that on his heart not to do that, and that those are his own convictions. So, like, who are you to judge another person's convictions at all? Unless they're bad convictions, which saying I'm not going to accept an award, but I'll keep my money is a good conviction because you're saying I'm not going to accept any awards for myself to say I did all this when God deserves the credit. Money, there's no credit whenever you get money, okay? People don't see the money in your bank account and be like, "Wow, this guy really did something," because nobody's seen Forrest Frank's bank account, okay? He's keeping that private, and that's a good thing because as long as he keeps that private, y'all can't say nothing. Y'all can't say nothing because there's no argument. You don't know where his money's going. The other topic, okay, on how much artists are making, whether they're making millions of dollars, because apparently, I don't know how true this is, so don't take my word for it, but apparently Christian music makes about $300 million a year, okay? So if they make $300 million a year, that's a ton of cash. Like I wish I had that much money, all right? But I don't. And you don't either. So, look, there is that much money being made off of Christian music. And people are saying, well, Christian artists shouldn't be accepting this money because it's so much money and it's all for God. Again, with the it's all for God thing, like God has blessed them with that money. And just because you don't have it doesn't mean you should be upset about it. Because I bet if you did something in the name of the Lord, and they're doing more than most people because they're doing something for Jesus, they're promoting Jesus and they're making money because God has blessed them with that money. So the day you do something that is for God and God blesses you with money, I won't see you complaining, will you? No. But our the culture, and this involves Christians because Christians are the main attacker in this category. So the culture likes to promote that rich people are horrible and how we should all have the same amount of everything. But if you're lazy and you don't do anything, any work at all, why do you deserve any money, bro? But these people are putting in work, and this is something that pays well. If you got a good job and you got paid 200,000 a year and you're single and have zero kids, okay, you're not going to turn around and be like, I'm just not going to accept the money because I'm single and don't need this much money. Okay, that's not going to happen. And also, if you're the viewer who is not on the side that I'm talking about, don't be offended because I'm just saying you, just in case anyone is watching this. So But it's a topic, and it's because people like to hate. That's just period. People like to hate. They want to find something to hate on. And I feel like in the Christian community, there's a lot of we jump the gun on a lot of topics, whether it's someone doing something, whether it's like Brandon Lake or anything like that. Everyone jumps the gun when they hear it, and they're like, "How could you do this?" And there's never any grace. There's never grace from the Christian community, and I think it's because a lot of people do not know what it really means to be loving and have grace towards other people. And that is the problem with the Christian community, because we focus so much on what's wrong and right instead of focusing on they're human and they're not perfect. And that's what we never focus on. And so I think we find a lot of hate in the Christian community where people, that's why they leave the church, is because there's so much strict, like, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. And if you're always telling someone that they're doing something wrong, they're not going to want to be a part of that. They're going to want to be in the sugar coated space where everyone tells them you're okay, you're doing the right thing. And that's why people leave Christianity all the time. So what have we learned from this video? Probably nothing, but I can tell you that before we, just something to take away is, don't jump immediately to, oh, they're a bad person or they're not Christian or something like that because they do a specific thing. And also don't be quick to judge, and don't be quick to post something online because you don't agree with how that person's convictions are coming out, because again, that's not between you, that's between them and God. So, and their money is for them to steward, and if they're stewarding it right, then God will be pleased with them. It's not if you'll be pleased with them or not. So again, if you're the viewer who's on my side, what's up, bro? And I'm glad we're on the same side because, well, it's the right side. Now you probably won't hear that a lot, but it's the right side, 100%. So, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you like it. And maybe if you consider subscribing. I've heard that this is pointless to say because it doesn't actually get anyone to do anything, because literally everyone says it. But if you like Christian content, normally I make devotional stuff. So yeah, that's my name's Landon Holloway. Yeah, consider subscribing. Also, YouTube thinks that you'll like another video that I have somewhere on the next screen. So see you later.